But we did Star Wars.
Yes.
We did Empire. So we do need to close it out with Jedi, I think.
Yes.
I'm pondering. I don't know what your thoughts on it. I don't want to do all the Star Wars films. There's like 12 of them. You go, what was it like when you watched Solo? You're like, oh, I watched it like 2 years ago. It's fine. I remember it well. It's fine. I liked it.
But when you want to do the Phantom Menace,
I was thinking that the Phantom Menace.
Dude, I'm down with the prequels too, because that was, to my kids, that was their Star Wars. Kind of like for me and you, it was the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And so they had already seen the original trilogy in the order that they were released, and then they watched the prequels. And so man, I mean, like that'd be fun to talk about too. But but I keep I mean, like I keep thinking Revenge of the Nerds, but it's Return of the Jedi.
Well, it was Revenge of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Which I remember. You know, people, it was never called that. It's like, it was called that. It was called, do you know it was called that up until like 6 months before the film came out?
Yeah.
Because I had to Google it. I Googled it last night. I'm like, when did they change the name? I knew they did. And I remember seeing the posters up, and there was loads of bootleg T-shirts and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And then it was like, oh no, it's now called Return of the Jedi, because Jedis would never do revenge. And you're like, I'm not sure if that's why you changed the name. I think you changed the name to sort of cut the legs off all the bootleggers. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the reason.
Yep.
But there was a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
But there was a teaser trailer that came out in December 1982, and that had Revenge of the Jedi on it.
Really?
And the film itself came out in May 1983, so it was only 6 months.
Wow, man. Yeah. And that took a lot of effort back then, because now, going back to our conversation about digital, like physical media versus digital media, and now, man, you can make changes up to the point it's digitally released. Yeah. And you can then change the artwork. And then, of course, Netflix can have 15 thumbnails that mislead you about what to watch.
Yeah, oh, look, Bryan Cranston's in it. No, he's not. It's Japanese.
That's it.
People watching that part on the Star Wars channel are going to be like, whoa, what the hell is Bryan Cranston going to do with this? But, check out the full podcast. This guy must
be from Waxing Cinematic. Yeah.
I may link to the From Page to Screen YouTube channel on the end of the Star Wars one, so people can just jump over there.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, Jedi. So we're going back to 83, 82. So we'd watched Empire.
Yeah. Right.
I remember coming out of Empire going, are we getting another one? When are we getting another one? And there was no internet. You couldn't check. You couldn't find out when you were getting another one. Yeah. But they obviously quickly put it into production because of the sheer amount of money it was making. Yeah. But I can't remember the first time I heard about Revenge of the Jedi was going to be a thing. Have you got any memories on that? Or it just sort of popped up and you're like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, like, so going back to Empire, we were left with, I don't think we knew that there was another, you know what I mean? But we didn't know who that was. We didn't know that Luke and Leia were siblings.
No, because they had a nice big smooch, didn't they? Which was nice.
Jake
for a brother
and
and sister.
I remember that. Yeah, Jake and I remember that differently. I just remember like a little peck, and Jake was like, "Oh no, man, there were tongues." And I'm like,
"No, I think it was maybe like a 2 second," and then Luke does that, doesn't he? He's like,
"Right, oh yeah,"
and then Luke's at hard, and he's like, "It's more that that's disturbing than the actual kiss or whatever."
Right, but I mean, I guess the midichlorians didn't let him know. But Return of the Jedi, man. I don't remember when I heard about it. And, the only place to see trailers back in the day were in the movie theater. So if there weren't movies leading up to that, then how did we even know? I mean, like, I don't remember seeing any. There was so much buzz with the first two movies. Shh, Lily. Sorry. We have a Lily. She thinks she hears something, but there's nothing. So
something's in the force. Like 1,000 puppies just cried out in anguish.
That's right. So anyway, as she runs around the house and barks, I was trying to think what the like my first impressions or memory. I mean, like everything else, I was so looking forward to going and seeing it, and I was looking forward to this. But yeah, it was just kind of like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
Lucas did another film. What do you think? Kind of thing.
Well, I mean, go back to the 80s or so. We'd had Empire in 1980. Then the world got took over by Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981.
Right.
And that would have been in cinema for months.
Did you find that insulting on any level, that it's just like, wait a minute, Spielberg is taking George Lucas's actor? What in the world? Because I don't remember Harrison Ford before Star Wars. I know he was in American Graffiti, which I still admittedly have not seen.
Oh, it's in my top 100. It is a really, really good film. Yeah. So I would watch that.
But it was funny when that came out, and I was just like, I don't know, my brain for some reason was just like, well, I thought he was with Lucas anyway.
Well, he was in Apocalypse Now as well, was Harrison. He had a small role in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, I didn't see that until much later. Yeah.
Bits. But yeah, 81 you had Raiders, 82 obviously E.T.
Yeah.
Should have been John Carpenter's The Thing, but that didn't happen. But everything was E.T. 82, 83, whatever was Rocky, and so there were a lot of films coming out, and then bang, we get this Return of the Jedi. I think the first I saw of it was probably some still pictures in like Starlog or Starburst or something like that in a magazine.
Right.
And then the toys. I remember the Kenner toys. The figures were out, and on the back, so it would show you all the figures that you could get from the Jedi range that was coming up. But they'd blacked out the Ewoks, so it looked like, if you were to take a lighter and burn out like a picture, they were like that. You're like, what the hell? You could see the name of it is like Wicket or whatever it was, but you couldn't see what the Ewok looked like because they were protecting it for the film. So I think those were my early things, and then obviously the teaser posters, which I did see Revenge of the Jedi ones, which then became Return of the Jedi one. But my God, I was so excited to watch.
Yeah,
just to watch the conclusion, because it drove me insane about, did Vader what father? No, that cut out. But I was a little bit too obsessed with that problem when I was 12. So I should have been bothering about other stuff. But I'm like, no, I need to know the thing. And I was there on opening night, which we got it in June, 83. Yeah. So we got it, I think, like 6-7 days after the US got it. So thankfully it wasn't too much wait. But
so what was your first impression of the Ewoks?
I didn't mind the Ewoks. I've never had an issue with the Ewoks, because to me, people go, "Oh, teddy bears overthrowing the Empire. That never happened." I'm like, no, it's the same as Rocky IV. Drago using all his technology in his nice posh gym. Rocky is running up hills and pulling up rocks. It's like, it's the arrogance of using technology. Oh, we don't have to worry about the Ewoks. We've got Scout Walkers. Well, you kind of do have to worry about Ewoks, because they can string logs together that will squish you. So I never had an issue with the Ewoks. Never. I have an issue with the blinking Ewoks in the special editions. I'm not a huge fan of the tinkering.
Well, that and the zipper removal.
It's like, just leave it in there. It's I like watching it as a 1983 film, not as something that's got the year 2000s special effects and stuff in it. But what about you? Were you an Ewok hater? You didn't mind them?
Dude, I was 100% sold on Star Wars, so they could have looked far worse, and I would have said, yes, Ewoks. Speeder bikes, man, those were very, very fun. And the biker scouts, man, those were probably some of my favorite helmets, which I'm not going to flip the camera around, but I did like during that big Amazon sale, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, they had those for like $50 less than they normally run for. So that's on my wall now, man.
This should be on your YouTube channel. You see?
I know, really, man. And unboxing, right?
Yeah. But with the speeder bikes, though, it's like, whenever you're on an actual bike, you're like, this is a speeder bike. I was. I'm just like, I was totally bought into the whole Star Wars world. Broom handles for lightsabers and everything. Amazing.
Yep. And seeing the behind the scenes stuff of how they, walking through the forest that was to be indoor, walking through the forest with a steady cam, and then having to put everything else in there, put it all together. Man, it's just, I mean, like, that was awesome. And it was exciting, man. And I guess in a way, that was like the pod racing for my kids in episode 1. It was just exciting, and all these close, almost colliding with trees and all that stuff, man. It was fun, man. And you think about how many times we have seen that spoofed. I mean, we've seen Neo's bullet time in so many different movies, but even, what was it, Hundreds of Beavers or whatever that ridiculous even that has a speeder bike sequence that is just like, yes, we're nerds, yes, we love Star Wars. So it felt, overall, I think the movie felt a little more relaxed, Han was more comfortable being himself, which, I mean, as a character, he had grown, and Leia was even more headstrong and confident. And, I mean, like, Luke, was trying to save his dad. I mean, there was a lot of good points in there. I don't know that I remember as many details about that movie as I do the original Star Wars or even Empire. It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, like, thinking about it, and there was so many cool things, from, his battle with his dad. That was cool.
It has one of the best shots in the Star Wars, all of them, where the John Williams music kicks in and they're panning from left to right, and it's just after Luke's like, no, and that shot, I love that shot. It is perfect.
And it was really good writing in the way that, they were trying to bait Luke into, giving into the dark side. He had become a much more powerful Jedi.
Yeah.
And but it's like, all right, so what about your sister? Yeah,
No.
And it was, and then
it worked.
Strike me down. I mean, it was some cool stuff, man.
A lot of my favorite moments from the Star Wars trilogy, or not just the trilogy, but the whole thing of Star Wars, a lot of them are in Jedi. With the opening when Shuttle Tydirium pulls in, and that whole sea of stormtroopers, like, that is a cool opening to a film. Wow, they've learned a lot since they were making Empire and Star Wars and stuff. Obviously, Star Wars had become New Hope by that time, but
and I think part of the magic in the original trilogy is there was no CG. Now, granted, when he did the reissue or whatever, that's a different story. But I mean, the fact that they had to figure out how to pull all these shots off, how to take us to these different lands. And so that always gave me something to think about. And same thing with Battlestar Galactica, the original series. There was no CG, man. I think that's another bit of movie magic that we've lost over the years, in that, it's CG. Whatever, man. Hey, Dune, man, it's really cool. Yeah, I mean, he's running through the desert, which is not real. And then you've got these big worms that aren't real. They're not practical. And so there's this discount that, and I think Lucas was still trying to prove himself. Industrial Light and Magic certainly was. Yeah, man. And Skywalker sound, I can't remember when that became a thing, but yeah, man. Yeah.
But there's one shot there's a lot of shots, but there's one shot in Jedi where it's just a sea of ships in that Death Star battle, and it's probably only 3-4 seconds long or something. Be like, that's impressive. And if you go back and watch that on the theatrical version, knowing that that's the one that was released in '83, that's insane. The amount of work that went into. Now you watch it on Blu-ray, you're like, I don't even know if that is CG or practical or whatever. So it removes the whole that was done in 1983 angle.
Yeah.
But I'm fortunate enough to have the theatrical versions, and you're like, they are still insanely impressive.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
So did it ever, and this is something I read within the last year, but it never crossed my mind up until somebody posed the question. How did the Ewoks have a dress that fit Leia? Boom. I mean, I have no answer for that. But I mean, and then what if 3PO wasn't there? Then these cannibals who just dressed Leia in
Would have killed her.
Woodland's outfit would have eaten Luke and Han.
Yeah.
I
think the dress thing, with maybe some Ewok seamstresses there that were pretty quick.
Lightning fast, man.
Lightning fast. Gotcha. Or maybe, if you, I don't know whether they're canon or not, the Ewok movies, but there were humans. There was humans in that, little blonde-haired humans, whatever. So maybe they'd met humans before. Maybe they'd eaten one of them and that was her dress. I don't know.
Yeah. So did you watch the Ewok animated series?
I've not seen I do have the animated one, but I've not seen them. No.
I have not either. And I found a animation cell. I think I put it back in the safe. But anyway, I don't even know where I got this thing.
You were telling me a story at one point where somebody sent it to you because you knew them and they were like, have it. You're like, all right.
Yeah. But I was going to send it to somebody if I could figure out how to send it to this lady who collects them because, I mean, and yes, I did Google it and it seems like it's worth maybe $50 or whatever. But I mean, if it would bring this lady some joy to add one more to her, string of like 200, then man, I'm down with that.
Definitely.
But I don't know who passed it to me. And my buddy who did animation for Disney was the one who said, oh, I think that's such and such a character from the Ewok animated series. But anyway, all these things came from Return of the Jedi.
It did. There was a droids cartoon and Ewoks and 2 movies, 2 TV movies. One which got shown at the cinema over here. I don't know which one it was, whether it was Battlefriend or Caravan of Courage. Can't remember because I didn't go watch it. But but I was obsessed with Jedi. And then just the trilogy of films I would just constantly rewatch, whether it's from recorded TV broadcasts or eventually, which my mind was blown when these were released onto VHS. It was years after. So I'm guessing it was just constant cinema releases that I would watch these things on.
And Lucas would do that even before the special editions.
Yeah,
a lot of times. It's like, hey, here's your chance. Yeah.
I saw a double bill with Star Wars and Empire. I saw the triple bill with Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. Stayed in there, watched it twice. 12 hours I was in there. Amazing. Love it.
Wow, man. So what was your thought when Han is ready to concede and just like, I know, you've got feelings for Luke, right? And Leia is just like, you're a dumbass. You're a moron. He's my brother. But wait, you kissed him. So I
like his look. I like his I really want to ask more about this story, but at the end of the day, I don't care because I may jeopardize my chances. So he does this little look. He's like, okay, that sort of thing. And I think that's brilliant. And it's little hints of the Harrison that we would see in the Indiana Jones movie. So that's sort of like, I'm not going to ask. Right. But I liked it. I don't think I have, certainly the theatrical version, so I have no issues with any of it. Maybe I was a little bit like, okay, Vader turned good all of a sudden. That was a bit fast. Evil, get off my son. You're like, what? So maybe that's a slight, really tiny nitpick. But other than that, I was just... nowadays people would come out of Jedi go, and they'd have all the big lists of plot holes and stuff. It's like, as a kid, 12 years old, I didn't care. I'm like, I've just seen the best movie ever, and I want to go back in and watch it again. And I probably did.
Yeah. Dude, it was a gift. Every Star Wars movie, both the original and the prequels, they were all gifts. I mean, whether I remember... and we'll get into it more when we, do the episode 1 Phantom Menace episode. But I mean, I was a little insulted. It's kind of like, so you're going to mansplain the Force? I mean, like metachlorians and all this stuff. And so, but then, but it was still a gift. And so then on rewatch, it was a whole lot better. I used to make fun of Anakin's poor acting. You are a space angel.
Yippee!
That's not even the way he said that.
Yippee! It's like,
But I mean, I don't remember ever making fun of the original trilogy. And I think
there's nothing to make fun of, I don't think. For me, anyway, it's like there was nothing in here that I could go, well, actually, that's kind of hokey or
Yeah.
weird. Nothing at all.
So what collectibles did you grab for Return?
Lots. I had loads of the figures. I had
Yeah.
lots of them. I used to take the polystyrene packaging out of things that got delivered to the house, and I would turn that into a Hoth base and just make like a Jabba's palace, because there wasn't really a proper kit that you could buy a Jabba's palace one. But I had those. There was an X-wing. Never had a TIE fighter, unfortunately. I did Jedi time have an AT-AT, which I still think that is the coolest model.
Man.
So I had a lot of them. I had a lot of the posters. My wall was just covered. I was obsessed with the Jedi and the whole Star Wars trilogy. I had the soundtracks, the double album. Yeah, a lot of them.
So that was back when posters went on the wall with thumbtacks, right? And we didn't think about it. And then if we wanted the soundtrack, that was vinyl. And you could see the art. It was so beautiful. And then you would hear every imperfection in the vinyl. But I mean, it would always take me back to, to the movie. I could re-experience it. Kind of like you and I have discussed Close Encounters of the Third Kind as well. There's just something magical about that score. And again, I mean, it's Williams. It's his work. So, man. But I remember I never collected any lightsabers until I want to say that was like the prequels. But I had a Han Solo blaster. I was trying to think what else. And it's funny, you had an X-wing fighter. I had two TIE fighters that went with the little figures. So there was Darth Vader's, and then just a regular Imperial TIE fighter, whatever that was. And then I don't think I had any. I did have like some models. I'll take some pictures and post them, because they are, I mean, I even have, this one store was going out of business, and so I bought like 2 of every model. They were like $1 a piece. And so I built one, and the other is still in the box. I don't know if they're worth anything or not. And so I was trying to think of what else, man. It's interesting when you, because I've always wanted a C-3PO head. Not that I would put it on, but I mean, I think that would be a cool addition to my collection. And doing research on it, it's like, oh, well, so, which version, from
like,
New Hope or
it's
Empire,
not the Phantom Menace one. The Phantom Menace one's a bit crap, isn't it? Because he's not even finished. I don't want that one.
Yeah. But that was an interesting rig, man. That guy who was the puppeteer, man. Trying to think what else, man. I've got do you have a favorite spaceship from Star Wars?
I think Jedi. I'm going Shuttle Tidarium. The one that Vader comes in on at the beginning, or the Emperor comes in at the beginning. I like that ship. The AT-AT from Empire. I think if it was a fight between Tidarium and the AT-AT probably would win. But I do like Tidarium. I like the Snowspeeder. So I think I have a tiny little. No, I don't. I thought I had a Snowspeeder. I don't. I've got a Slave one and a Millennium Falcon.
I hear you.
So I've got those. But what about yourself? Is there a favorite? Is there a standout one for you?
I guess I will forever be a Millennium Falcon guy. But
that one. That's my little Millennium Falcon there.
Oh, dude.
Tiny one. Yeah.
I think I've got that one. I mean, like, I did that. It was at lunch weeks and weeks ago, where I was thinking, which do I have more of, Spider-Man or Deadpool? And turns out it was Batman, which Michelle goes, well, that's who you are in your heart, is Batman. Yes. So, but as far as like my collection of spaceships, it's probably, and I'll have to look out in we have a side room on the garage, and that has some models and stuff in it too. But I think the Millennium Falcon would win. But the Slave One is another one, whether it's
pretty good.
Which version of the Slave One, as far as like Jango Fett versus Boba Fett.
I'd probably go Boba Fett. Yeah, they both look similar, but I would always, if there's a choice between like the prequel trilogy and the the sequel trilogy. I will always go original trilogy if there's that option on the menu, I think, for me personally.
Well, and I think he had a good plan. Make it look like an old junker, have the panels being different, and there's two friends of mine who, one of them owned a string of restaurants, and he drove around in some beat up old Pinto. I mean, like it was, but he said that way when he came and went from work or wherever he went, no one asked him for money. Nobody wanted anything. And so, yeah, man, I mean, like that's smart. But so I think Boba Fett kind of had that going on. I still think it's funny that you could keep, like when we were watching The Mandalorian, the Beskar would stop a lightsaber, right? Mm-hmm. But yet somehow Boba Fett got a big dent in the helmet. So, and I mean, from what I understand, that came from when they did the original mold, there was some bubble or whatever. So they decided, hey, let's just make it into a dent. I don't know why they wouldn't have created a new one, man. I mean, you're only Industrial Light and Magic. Yeah. But yeah, man. So if you have a favorite spaceship of all time, even outside of Star Wars, and I know,
it's probably it may be the 1701D from Next Generation, the Enterprise, possibly. Yeah. I do like the Colonial Vipers from the original Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah,
they're fine from the remake one, but I like the original ones.
Yeah,
out of pure nostalgia. Or possibly the USS Cygnus from the Black Hole. I think was a cool looking ship. God, I need to pure geek.
So probably, oh my goodness, my favorite ship is probably this one from The Expanse.
Wow, yeah,
because it was so simple, and was built using like real world physics best they could.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, like The Expanse, I still miss that TV show.
I was never a huge fan of was it the B-wing out of Jedi? Like just the skinny one that looked like a.
Yep.
That's all that about. I'd be like, John, you're flying an X-wing. Yes. You're flying a Y-wing. Yes. You're flying the B-wing.
Right.
Oh, fuck.
Right.
I don't want to fly the B. They're not a cool looking ship. Those things, really.
What was the one from? I can't remember if it was the prequels or it was the sequels, but they, instead of just having the X, it was like they had 3 wings. It was just like all spread out.
Yeah, I remember seeing. I think that was from the prequels.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird. I mean, there was one guy I expressed my love of Star Wars, and this jackass was like, "Well, the X-wings never would have flown." Really? I don't care, man. I mean, like, they were still badass. I mean,
I'd be like, but they did. Because I've got them on VHS. Because I recorded it. I cut the adverts out with the pause button.
Right.
They flew.
Dude, that's a passion for Star Wars right there, man. Cutting out all those commercials.
And then, obviously, Jedi ended. And it was like, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think there ever was, are we going to get any more Star Wars films? I think we just generally came out of the third one going, that was an amazing trilogy. I'm just going to queue up and watch them again or whatever. There was never like, we need more, we need more. There's so many unanswered questions. I don't think there were any. I think we were happy to just enjoy what we enjoyed. They did wrap it up really well.
And two, I think, with each one, I don't know that Lucas knew that he was going to make another one. I know the first one was done, and then it's like, okay, now we can make the second one, but I don't think the third one was really was guaranteed. And so, but I mean, the fact that he did wrap it all up in the end, I mean, like, if they're plot holes, I don't care,
I genuinely struggle. If you said, tell me some plot holes in the original trilogy, I'd have to sit down for a little bit and go, let me try and think of some. There's nothing that glares. I'm sure Star Wars fans watching this will be like, what about that one? I don't know.
Right.
I'm okay with plot holes because it's like, we don't know everything that's going on in everybody's life. Is that a plot hole? Or is that just an unanswered question that we haven't been fed the answer? I don't need things feeding.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you were watching 24. did you ever wonder when Jack went to the bathroom?
Oh, I knew
Because he was
when it was
always on the
showing
road, man.
when it was showing the bad guys. He was just
I guess
peeing
so,
in a
man.
bottle or whatever during the ad breaks, because there were ad breaks.
That's a police song, isn't it?
Yes.
Peeing in a
I think
bottle.
it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, they changed the lyrics
Sorry,
thankfully,
Sting.
but that's pretty much. But yeah, everything was wrapped up, and I spent at least a couple of years after that playing with Star Wars figures and just being obsessed in that world. And it's fun. I do miss those times. I didn't. My childhood kind of sucked, but the movie watching side of it was amazing. And it's just, I'm really glad I lived through the time. I'd like to have been a little older so that I could have appreciated Star Wars, the first one, in theaters when it came out. But I got to fully appreciate Empire, definitely Jedi, when it came out. I was a prime age, like 12 years old, to watch Ewoks and Jabba the Hutt and Rancors and all that sort of stuff. That poor old Rancor keeper crying his eyes out. Pet got killed.
So in Book of Boba Fett, did you like that he rode on a Rancor? I mean, did you like that he adopted this beast? And man.
Yeah, it kind of worked.
Yeah.
But so it's because a lot of people now, I mean, you see a lot of the Star Wars fans now, they probably weren't even around when the original trilogy, but yet and I'm sure it's not all of them, but a lot of them take ownership over, you don't understand Star Wars. We do, because we were there when the whole damn thing began.
Right.
And it ended after the third film, and then that was it, other than the Ewok movies, which would come around a couple of years later. And that was it. There was no, I don't even think there was any novels other than the novelizations. I don't think they were
they were not all that accurate. I remember buying Empire Strikes Back, and I still have it. And but I was reading through it, and then it was like when Leia says, "I love you," and Han answers, "I love you too." And I'm like, what? That was when I put it down. I was like, now Michelle's home. Now she's got something. Now
she's got a reason to bark for.
Yeah. And of course, she's not going upstairs. She's staying down here. I'm going to say that she's protecting me, but she may be just wanting me to leap over the couch if something, comes around the corner. So.
Possibly. But it was fun times. Jedi's still my favorite Star Wars film. And I think this nostalgia has a lot of, nostalgia does hold a lot of power as to what makes a film a good film.
And I think pacing, it was more even. I still enjoy New Hope, but I mean, it was much slower, which that was what made me love Mandalorian so much, was that pacing. But I think Jedi certainly, it had a faster pacing to it. But it is funny. I was thinking just yesterday, because I knew we were going to talk about this, and I was like, it's almost like a time traveler. You know what I mean? Where we're talking about a movie that, like you say, most people weren't even alive to see.
No, they weren't.
No. Yeah, it's kind of like when Jake talks about Terminator. Maybe it was even Terminator 2. I think it was 2 when Terminator 2 came out, but Terminator 1, he wasn't even around. But I mean, I remember seeing that in the theater. So, but it's like that joke where, hi, I'm John. I'm a time traveler from the 19th century. Yes. When you separate it out that much, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I guess in another 20 years, then the kids will be like going, yeah, you remember back in 16? And that makes me think about when I wasn't alive back and it was 1916. But I mean, I'm thinking Wright brothers. I'm thinking, so yeah.
And that's why I wanted to do these, certainly the original trilogy. And I was always thinking Phantom Menace would fit into that as well. Mm-hmm. It is like time travel, because we've talked about seeing things, there was no internet. We saw a picture in a magazine and we queued up outside and all this sort of stuff. And I think a lot of people who were not even around back then might listen to this and go, wow, how old are these dudes?
Yeah.
How old are these chicks, dudes, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
and find it interesting. But I love sort of mentally taking a trip back to what it was like to watch real. I don't think we watch our favorite classic films as much as we certainly did when we were kids. I haven't seen Jedi in years. I do own it, but multiple different versions, but I haven't seen it in a long time. It's like, what happened? You know?
What, I'm thinking about how many, it's like, I still have Star Wars calendar from, I guess it was 78. I have a book of iron-on decals that also was from the original Star Wars. They sold this thing that was like all the blueprints of the different spaceships and stuff. And you'd pull out each one and unfold it like a giant map, and you could see, like the inner workings and stuff. And yeah, man, one of these days, I guess I do need to add to my YouTube channel and
it would be
go
incredible.
through the Star Wars stuff, man.
But people thrive upon them though, and it's like I found out with opening the Star Wars YouTube channel, it's like, people they want to see everything.
Yeah,
and it's like I did a video on a Death Star clock that I have, and that's had like 50 views. Like people are just looking at a clock.
Wow,
so it's
man!
Like all this weird, quirky stuff that's out there, and people find it interesting. Especially, it's not like, oh, look at this crappy clock. It's like, look at how cool this clock is. So if it's in a positive spin, but the amount of stuff that you've got, I think I would happily just watch all your videos about all your cool stuff. There's always a little story behind them as well, so it works even better.
Yeah. So I do need to dust. There's so much stuff behind, or to the side of my desk, and I do need to dust it because it's been years. And I have an R2D2 phone, and and so and sorry, it's getting excited because my sexy wife just appeared. Like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You're my Obi-Wan.
But the R2D2 phone is in the very back of this one shelf because it's so tall. But yeah, man, I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that I should just document and put out there. But that was the story behind it. No, we'll wrap up after this. But it's like, I thought it was the coolest thing. It sat on my desk back in I guess it was the 90s. And, you had a cord. I mean, it was very much a traditional phone, but it was R2D2. And so, but the downside to it was, if it rang, it sounded just like R2D2, which was amazing until you picked it up and tried to answer, and it would finish the run of sounds before it would stop. So, so my clients would call up and they're like, what the hell is that? Is that R2D2? Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Yeah. So
you have to sort of retire that phone and get a proper professional phone.
Right. And now everybody has a cell phone and no landline. So yeah.
But thank you for the nostalgia trip with Jedi.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. I look forward to doing the prequels too.
Me too. That means I'm going to watch 2 of them. I'll do that. I'll do that for you.
It's funny. Taking the kids to see episode 1, and then episode 2, and then episode 3 I saw with a bunch of friends, and we went to the midnight showing. And my kids didn't grow up with a lot of gore and stuff, so when they were watching it, I guess on DVD, I had to, like, when I thought you were my brother, or whatever that line was.
The legs come off. You're like, whoa.
Okay, kids. Yeah. So anyway, so it was, I mean, like, my kids were much older when they rewatched it, and they were like, why did you stop us? This is nothing compared to what we watched today. So I'm like, well, all right.
Trying to look after you, trying to be a good parent, and you're just punishing me for it.
I know, really.